Hello, I'm Todd Phillips. I'm here today with Christy Fine. She's the general manager of two Chrysler dealerships in Barrie, and as you know, trying to keep business going as much as possible during the pandemic. And so, Christy, if you could share with us what's going on with your dealerships. I know you're still able to serve customers in the service side, but what does it look like up in your dealerships?
Hi, good morning, everyone. So it's been different as we go through this pandemic and figure out the right things to do. So with two dealerships so close in proximity to each other, we did make the tough decision about 2 weeks ago now that we did shut one of the dealerships down entirely. So we shut 400 down for sales and service, sales of course, but we shut the service department down too, which was a tough decision to make. But we thought it was the right decision because then we can, put more socially distancing practices in place. We moved all of our amazing customers to Barrie Chrysler, to our other location, and we can service them there. So we were able to make that change, and truthfully, it was pretty amazing. We did it all in a day, and we're able to do that. So we've got that going. And then this week, we just slowly started opening 400 up in service again. Very, very skeleton staff. I only have 3 employees in service right now for essential services. So, that's police cars, ambulances, anybody who needs necessity transportation. We've been able to service them here and still keep things going at Barrie on the service side. So we do operate behind locked doors right now. So we have a full touchless, contactless service drop-off and pickup service. And I have to say our customers have been absolutely incredible while we've been putting these new processes in place, because it's bumpy anytime you implement those things.
Well, the other thing is it's all being done so quickly. I mean, none of us really had a long term to plan for any of this, including us being able to do our videos remotely, which is sort of a new thing for us. Everyone's adapting to the new reality. And so for your teams, though, you mentioned, there's all your team members are laid off in some state of, ready to be coming back. But how are you able to communicate with them and stay sort of connected with them and during this? And in fairness of disclosure, actually, my stepdaughter, Jessica, works at your dealership. So she's one of the team members that you're communicating with. What tools are you using to stay in touch with them?
So we have a WhatsApp chat. I think just about for every department in the store. So we've been posting a lot in WhatsApp. A couple of days ago, actually, the teams all got involved in the WhatsApp chat, and truthfully, it choked me up a little bit seeing how much everyone missed being in the dealership every day. Because truthfully, we are like a family. Like, we spend more time here than we do with a lot of our family members, so we're missing it. And I know myself being here every day, it's quiet and lonely without them and without the laughter and the banter that goes on. So we've been doing a lot of chats, FaceTiming each other, Zoom meetings, sending pictures back and forth. And it's been fun to experiment a little bit with some of the different social media platforms and connecting on Zoom and, talking to each other that way. And what processes and things do we need to be putting in place when we come back to keep us all safe? And it's been nice because I've been able to FaceTime some of the things we're doing, so that when they do come back and when that time comes, they're kind of prepared and we have a good understanding and where things are going to go in the future.
Well, that sounds great. I mean, the communication is key during this. And for a lot of young people, none of us have been through a pandemic like this, honestly, or any kind of a sudden shock economic downturn that you couldn't see coming. So it's really unprecedented. So I think it's important to communicate to them during this and let them know this is not a normal situation, and to provide the steps back to, the industry will return back to normal at some point in the near future. So kudos for that. How are you able to communicate with your OEMs during this too? Just to make sure that they know what you're doing and you're getting the messaging from them. I'm sure there's a lot of turbulence in that world as well, just trying to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, we've got a really good open communication with the OEM. So we're emailing every day, talking on the phone, and same things. Like, if there's any support they can give us and us in turn give them, we're working really closely together to try and, make this the best outcome for everybody when we can get back to business when the time comes.
And when the time does come, and it will, so you mentioned you're already putting protocols in place. Are those going to last beyond this pandemic? You mentioned earlier some shields and some social distancing tools. Some customers will be full on, just happy to come back in the dealership. Others are going to be more hesitant. So what steps are you going to put in place so when you do open up that everyone feels comfortable, both your team members and your customers?
Well, I think for the next little while, and it's hard to put a timeline on things like this because we don't really know how long it's going to last, what the government's Going to recommend for us, what the health officials are going to recommend. So right now we are operating under a locked dealership. So it's a full contactless service. So we sanitize when they come in, everything. They drop their keys in a night box. We go retrieve them. And same thing, even with service, we can FaceTime our customers and do those things. And I think that's probably the way it's going to go for the next little while. And then when we are able to open up and allow customers in, we have gotten shields and stuff in front of all our forward-facing advisors, reception, I think F&I managers, at least for the next little while, that they're protected that way. And again, we want everyone to be comfortable. So even when this initially all started, we gave everyone the option right away of voluntarily, if they didn't want to come in, that was their choice, because we don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable in this situation. And same with sales. I think we're going to continually see Zoom meetings and FaceTimes and all those different forms of communication for customers who maybe aren't comfortable coming in. And we need to adapt to that and do what's best, for ourselves and the customer. Home deliveries as well, dropping in their driveway, maybe sitting across the road and offering a FaceTime video to go over the features and benefits with their cars. I think, do we see down the road, second delivery nights coming back? I think so. But again, from a distance, so we can go over the features of the vehicles when they can't come into the dealership in the traditional way. And I think it's going to change our business, but I don't think it's necessarily going to change it in a bad way, because maybe these are all processes and things we should have been doing all along that we're going to be forced to adapt to and do things a different way. And it's a learning curve for all of us. So we're doing the best we can and figuring it out as we go.
Well, those are all great tips, and we're trying to really talk to dealers cross country to get their ideas, and you passed on some great ideas right there. One thing that strikes me is I've been in your dealership, and the first time I walked in, you came out and greeted us with a big smile, very friendly, and Barrie is a big small town in a way, and you've got a very kind of friendly rapport. Your customers are used to that. Now it's going to change for them, that you're still going to interact with them. You still have to find ways to keep that intimacy and that customer connection that feels natural and that people want, just while maintaining sort of health protocols, I guess. But you're going to have to find ways to keep that family connection and that sense that you're going to a place that's welcoming in your dealership, right?
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in, I try to meet every customer that comes in the dealership, even whether they're here for sales or service, it doesn't matter to me. I enjoy the people interaction of this side of business. So I'm working on some videos myself for the customers that I can't meet when they pick up their new car, or maybe they've had their first service experience with us and I haven't met them yet. I'm actually working on them today, some videos that I can send to the customers in an email going, hey, I know we didn't get to meet face to face like I would normally get to meet you, but here's who I am, here's what our store is all about. And I hope that, when you're in for service the next time, or when you're here for your first appointment, or you just happen to be driving by, you can pop in and, from a distance, we can maybe meet in person when the time is right.
Well, I'm a big sort of handshaker. I meet people in the industry all the time. I go to tons of events, and I have to really reconsider that. I'm sure nobody's really going to want to do something as basic a human greeting as a handshake in the near future. And it's amazing how quickly that will change. Whether that sustains, I'm not sure, but I think all of us have to sort of just adapt.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have to see how that goes throughout the summer as well. But I mean, we're adapting. We're making the best of it. Where it goes.
Okay. Well, we'll have to have a virtual handshake. You ready? There we go. Well, I appreciate you taking the time for us today. Those are great tips for dealers cross country, and stay well. And I wish you the best of success when the dealerships do open again.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Todd. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Signing off.